For the players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast is fueled by the Man Shake. I lost 30 kilos in 10 months using this meal replacement shake. If you want to support the show and max in my weight loss journey, or to even start your own, click the link in the description below. The Man Shake. Real blokes, real results.
For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in the games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials, because our times change all the time for the live show. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all of the links can be found in the description below.
Yeah, it turns out our January was fucked, so we just kind of really moved it all around. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. You can be in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you're on the podcast services, give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Or if you are on the YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can. Patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise, popculturist.com/shop. We buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. How's things, Max?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got all my work stuff sorted, my security
Oh
checks,
yeah,
my
updates, I guess. Yeah, so last week because at the start of the show we always bullshit about what happened in our week, because you know, PopC, personality based. Yeah, I presume you hear from us. How'd you resolve your?
So
your
on
security?
Monday, I finally got the paperwork for my security check.
So for those who don't know, Max works for a government building as a cleaner, and they didn't renew his security clearance in time. So it was a situation of I might not be able to work in a couple of days.
Yeah, so that's all been taken care of. On we had a public holiday here in Australia on Tuesday for Australia Day, so nothing got done then. Wednesday morning, took all my stuff in, my passport, all the stuff, and they're like, yep, cool, we've got everything, no worries, no dramas, we'll get it all sorted. I'm like, oh, don't forget my card expires on Friday. He's like, yep, I'll get you an extension till mid-Feb, and then your police check will be done by then. Don't sweat it. Come back in the next morning to a note, Max, we need more ID. I'm like, well, I don't have my wallet on me now, so I'm going to have to go home after work and come back in. They needed like my Medicare card and a credit card. Sense. Like, yep, no worries, all right, cool, did that. So we'll find out tonight when I go to work if the building lets me in. We'll see if the extension has taken form. Because if it doesn't, Max has got Monday off.
I liked it. This is a really cool, like, little drum roll, sort of like what can happen, what will happen.
It's just been a night. It's just been crazy.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this ends up. I mean, next thing you just say, beep. No, all right, cool. Turn around, come home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not too bad.
What about you? How's your week been?
Oh man, my week has been all right. So we'll get into, you know, as we're doing our fitnessy thingies, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So I've been doing a bit of that this week. I have recently really engaged in some hardcore Resident Evil hype.
Somewhere I thought you were on.
No. Resident Evil hype, something fierce.
Yep.
Something fierce. So so we'll get into what we're playing shortly. Been playing the shit out of some Resident Evil games. I also went and on the Facebook Marketplace.
Oh wow, you found it on the Facebook Marketplace?
I picked up the Resident Evil 2 board game.
That's impressive that you found it on the Marketplace.
So I found this plus the survival horror expansion, $80.
That's pretty good.
That's fucking amazing. So I bought it because I was like, I just wanted to paint the minis. And then you mentioned that you are excited by the Resident Evil 2 board game.
Because these guys are the guys that also made... I'm pretty sure they also made the Dark Souls game.
Yeah, and the Horizon one.
Yep.
So that I'm already excited for, because in playing it will be cool. So I've painted a couple of zombies. I painted Leon, and it looks mint. I'm actually really happy with my painting bills. My painting skills, sorry. I'm like, yeah.
I think they're also making the upcoming Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and there's a Resi 3 one in the works as well. So I just want to paint Nemesis.
Yeah.
That's going to be dope. So I've been doing that. I've been really getting into the Resident Evil stuff. And I don't know, I think it's been awesome. Been absolutely loving that. That's good. Before we get into the games we've been playing, we will jump into the section. So for those that don't know, last year using the Man Shake, you would have heard the stinger at the start of the show. I lost 30 kilos in 2020. Max is kicking off his weight loss journey this year. We're doing it together. How's it going this week?
So I did my usual my weekly weigh-in with my family on Tuesday, and I had lost 4.8 kilos total since the start.
Yeah.
I weighed myself this morning and nothing. I've been bad this week. I've had a rough week. So kicking back into it strong today. So hopefully by Tuesday I've lost a little bit. So my numbers at least coming down.
That's all right.
So I think I'm at just over 6 kilos total lost in the 3 weeks.
That's fucking mad.
Which I'm pretty happy with still. So.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. No complaints there at all. That's brilliant. I've made the big jump this week. I've gone into the game. Well, not into an actual game, but into my brother-in-law's game.
Okay.
So, after losing 30 kilos, I've sort of stayed at this same window of weight for probably the better part of the last month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's a situation of if I want to lose more and hit the goal that I want to, I'm going to need to push a bit harder. So I've made the decision that I will start going to the gym and start doing some more weightlifting stuff to help sort of keep that move going, right? It's going to have to do it. So, went to my brother-in-law's earlier in the week, and then literally just before I got here. So the other day we did biceps and shoulders, and then today was shoulders and core. And I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's hard, but I'm really digging it.
That's good.
Because you've gymmed in the past.
Yes, I've gymmed in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't at all. So this is the first time I've done any sort of physical, intentionally physical exercise, aside from my yoga and my walking and stuff. So on a good note though, it's already been effective. There was there's a literal weight that I couldn't seem to breach up until now. And then this week, doing the gym, and this not excluding today, just doing the one session got me over that line. And then I continued to lose for a couple more days because I think there's sort of that reverberation from it as my body's trying to work out what the fuck I did to it, which is amazing. So I'm going back in the right direction now, which is fantastic, which is absolutely brilliant. And so if any of you want to join us on our weight loss journey and come, do it alongside us, support us, you can. There is a link in the description for the Man Shake, because Max and I are fueled by the Man Shake. If you go down there, you click that link. You don't even have to buy anything. You can just click the link and have a look around, and that helps us out, shows us our support. And right now, they have a new mango flavor. It's in here. I haven't tried it yet. They sent me 2 bags earlier in the week, but I just haven't... Because there was express delivery that took a week and a half to get to me. So I'll be drinking this throughout the show because I haven't had my second shake today. So it's only available online. So it's only available over the summer season. So if you want to, have a nice fruity drink and lose some weight, give it a go. Easy done. Oh, but yeah, because one other thing as well. So last night we went to some local independent wrestling.
Yep.
Oh, Raider Type R for the subscription for 3 months. Thank you very much, my friend. Really, really appreciate that. So once again, we record this live on Twitch. So we went to the local wrestling.
Yeah.
It was GCW or Gold Class Wrestling or Geelong City Wrestling. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. It was not as shitty as I expected.
Yep.
But there was still some good shit to it. So they had a bunch of single matches, which were a Gold Class. Thank you, Mule. Gold Class, which was great. And then they had a Royal Rumble at the end. And so a Rumble match is 30 people and all throw them over the top rope, which is about to happen in WWE as well. The problem is, because it's independent, I don't really know who any of these people are. These 30 random dudes. And all they either were stickly thin or... flabby, which it's good. It showed a lot of COVID bodies, is all I'm saying, which made me very positive that I should be able to achieve my goal of taking a bump by the end of the year. And knowing that I'm I look fitter than some of these, I look thinner than some of these people. That's positive for me, right? We'll go with that. Oh, and of course, and Raider Type R has gifted 1 sub to the puck. Thank you very much. Way to type. Double the love today. Much appreciated. But yeah, so that kind of fills me with some good happiness, knowing that I might be able to achieve my goal reasonably. When I look at all those dudes, like some guy was literally wrestling in tracksuit pants. I was like, all right, this is I should be able to achieve this. Anyway, I'm gonna give this mango a bell. Max, what have you been playing?
So this week, thanks to Turn Left Distribution, I got to play Atelier Ryza 2. So after playing the first one over the last couple of weeks, I dove into number 2 hard. They've made some great improvements to overall to the game. So this game is set 3 years after the first title. So a lot of the story beats are all you meeting everyone you met in the first game. So it's really, I would strongly recommend playing the first one before playing the second one, because it is kind of a direct sequel.
As the two suggest.
Yeah, as the two suggest. I mean, you could probably piece together, like, you do get a little bit of their backstory of what they did in the prior title, in the lead up to because you re-meet everyone. So when you meet them for the first time, they've got the stereotypical question mark name. And then you have this, I know who you are. We did this together. And it kind of explains what you did together. And then you do the next
Okay,
thing.
so you are playing the same character?
You are playing the
in
exact same character. Yeah.
Okay.
You have 3 years more experience now, and you've forgotten all your skills that you learned in the first game.
Huh.
So they changed the way that works. So you now have a skill tree. Mm-hmm. And by progressing story beats through the game, you unlock skill points, and then you use those skill points in the skill tree to unlock the crafting recipes that are the main thing in this game. Being an Atelier game, you're an alchemist, so you learn all the recipes to craft all the items that you'll need to complete the game. Man, that crafting system in that game is so convoluted and confusing sometimes. Thankfully, there is an auto craft, and you're just like, I want this, and I want it in the highest possible quality, and it's like, okay, man, I'll do it.
Sweet.
But there's morphing of recipes, so you can create entirely new things from a recipe if you just add one random item in one specific spot, and then all these other things are crazy. But the basic premise of this title is, so the first one was, I'm a kid, I live in this island town, and I don't want to be stuck here. I want to go out and adventure. I want to see the world. So you do that.
We can all relate to that.
You get that. Start of the second game, you've made it. You're in the big city. You're in the capital. Awesome. And then your friend from the previous game is like, hey, he's now an archaeology student. And he's like, hey, I found all these ruins around the capital, and I think they have links to your alchemy. How about we go check them out? Mm-hmm. And that's your new adventure. You're going and checking out all these new ruins. You're discovering their secrets. You're piecing together all the puzzles of the reminiscent memories in the locations. Really, really cool. Really digging this game. I'm about 30 hours in. I've done 4 of the ruins now. I've hit kind of a brick wall at the moment. I can't seem to get past this boss. It's really giving it to me. The combat system's changed a little bit, so they've changed the UI for the battle scenes. So instead of having your turn timer run down the left hand side of the screen to show when enemies and when your turn's coming up, they've moved it into the neater bottom right hand corner, and you come to meet in the middle. So enemies are on one side of the bar, your teammates are on the other. You can now chain skills together, which is really helpful. The combat is still very similar to the first one, where it's turn based, but everyone goes. So if you don't take your turn fast enough, everyone else doesn't stop to wait for you. So that's really good. It took me a while to work out that you need to, for your healing and usable items, you actually have to equip them to the character, and they get infinite uses. It took me a while to realize that, because I crafted like a bunch of potions, and then I couldn't use any of them. Like, why can't I use them? Turns out you need to equip them, and then one potion just has infinite uses. There's not a...
So all these extra potions you made for no reason.
There is the caveat is, if you have 4 potions equipped, you can use 4 potions at once. So if everyone needs healing, you can go potion for you, potion for you, potion for you, potion for you. But if you only have 1 equipped, you can use it once per turn.
Oof. Okay.
So I now have a dedicated healer that's just got healing items. I've got a dedicated damage dealer that's just got like bombs and throwing knives and all the other stuff. So the combat's really fun. I've been playing the PS4 version on PS5 with backwards compatibility. Due to the nature of the release windows, the PS5 version just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, so it actually wasn't available at the time
wasn't
of Max's review. So it is available now online as it has passed the release date. But yeah, we were literally unable to access it.
Yeah. So I have played a little bit of it on PS5, and it does pretty much eliminate those loading screens between the open areas.
Because the hurdle that you were having was you tried to bring your save across.
Yeah, my save file does not come across.
Ooh.
So I had to start again from the start, which was kind of a bummer. So I'm going to continue playing it on the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Purely because I don't want to lose that 30 hours that I've already put into it.
Cool.
And the only I played about 4 hours of it on the PlayStation 5 version, and the only real big improvement is that, the colors are a little bit brighter, they pop a little bit more, but the main thing is the loading screens between the transitions of areas are just so much quicker.
That's cool. So now I've not engaged in this game at all because this couldn't be any more not a bet. Like it couldn't any not be a Betson game. It is weeby as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like out of 10, how weebs is it?
About an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, it's that's pretty high on the weeb scale.
You're kind of that stereotypical anime girl who's like over the top happy, and a lot of the dialogue is just fluff.
Okay.
A lot of the, because apart from the main story, you do the I'm gonna help the townsfolk out. They can put in requests like, hey, I need this crafted. It needs to be X quality, blah blah blah. So you go and do those, and that's how you make your money throughout the game. And that dialogue is just throwaway. It is just random nonsense most of the time. And then you get your story beats that are good. Like they tell the story, they progress you further. They make sense. They're not overly, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very yeah, she's just over the top happy. It's like so over dramatized that it's bordering on cringe at some points.
See, I get that vibe with almost any sort of super Japanesey anime and or games. Like those things are distinct turn-offs for me.
Yeah. Apart
from the style, but they're the key. If you wanted to explain why I'm not a big fan, like there tends to be the reasons.
Of course.
So to add to that though, because this is the same guys that made Fairy Tail, yeah?
Yes.
Now you were pretty hot on Fairy Tail.
Yes.
So because we were both at the time, we were both baffled about this file size of Fairy Tail, how it was so tiny. In the same way, is this in a similar space? Because one of the things that we concluded was that they've essentially reskinned Atelier for Fairy Tail. Have they done the same here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on PS4, the download size was 10.6 gig.
Yeah.
For PS5, it was 13.
Yeah.
So they're definitely reusing their assets throughout the series.
Yeah. Well, not a bad thing. Like it could just be well optimized as well.
It's not a bad thing. Like it works well. Some of the gripes that I brought up about Atelier 1 a couple of weeks ago was they give you a button to free jump in the open world, but they put invisible barriers on top of everything. A lot of those have been removed now. You can jump over stuff that you should be able to jump over. There are still blocked walls for parts of the map that haven't been rendered. Like if there's a short gap between this rock and this rock, you cannot jump to it because there's a clear path that you need to walk around. Is it the same idea of like of using this very simple example of Pokemon? There's little ledges that you can jump down, but you can't jump up. Yeah, pretty much. And because it's kind of like that they're open areas as opposed to an open world, so you'll have one big set area with multiple points that you can walk through. And then it'll open up to a new big area. So that's where your load screen transitions are, transitioning from point to point in the next areas. They've got a fast travel system, exactly the same as the first one. So once you've explored an area, you can open your map and go, I want to go to this specific point in this specific map. Cool. So your gameplay is very similar to that of the first one as well. You're separated into, you're either gathering your components for crafting, you're progressing the story, or you're doing battling.
Yeah.
So if you were a fan of the first one, the improvements made to the second game will vastly increase your enjoyment of the second title. But it's very much the same game. If you didn't like the first one, I don't think you're gonna like the second one. It's not so drastic of a change in story that it might turn you back. It might win you back. But I'm definitely enjoying it. I've had lots of fun with it so far. I've enjoyed it more than what I enjoyed the first one.
That's good.
So I think the improvements made were really, really well done and well implemented. I do like the change of the skill tree being a thing now, so you can specifically pick and choose how you want to start your game. So in the first title, all your recipes will learn out of books. Now it's once you clear out the ruins, you'll learn specific nodes will open up. But as you progress down the skill tree, more nodes will open up and spread out, and you can kind of pick and choose where you're going to go. Eventually, you will need to get all of them, because there's parts where it's like you need to craft this item to continue, but you haven't learned this skill over here yet, so you need to work your way back over there. And to get skill points is you just craft things, which you're constantly doing.
Oh, that's handy. I was going to say, like, do you then have to grind?
No, so there's no... So battling is only for XP and character growth. To get skill points, you just craft.
That's mad.
And to get money in this game, you have to craft. So you're killing two birds with one stone.
That's so fucking
just
good.
Crafting.
I like that so much.
You don't have to sit there and grind out the battles if your characters are high enough level and developed enough. Because you can craft good weapons too. Because all your weapons are done by crafting. So you craft your weapons and then enchant them. And then you go out. So a lot of the time, I've had very low level characters, but I've been able to beat everything because I've been crafting really well. But I'm now at the stage where I'm doing enough damage, but I'm essentially a glass cannon. I will die in one hit. And this boss is kind of taking advantage of that. So I look forward to finishing it. I think I'm very close to the end.
Damn. Well,
but it's been great fun. I've really enjoyed playing it.
Fantastic. Big thank you to the team, once again, the team at Turn Left Distribution for providing Max a review copy of Atelier Ryza 2. If you have any questions about the review that Max didn't cover, or you want to let us know what you're thinking of the game, let us know in the comments below. I myself this week, I've not been playing anything for review. I've only been playing for funsies. I've been playing Resident Evil 4. So I played a little bit of the back end last year, but I've picked it back up this week, and I've put like fucking 15 hours in that prick this week. See, there's a hurdle, Max, and this is going to be controversial. All right. Resident Evil 4 is regarded as the best Resident Evil of all time by many. I don't quite see it. It's very, very good, but I don't see it. Because I think because I only came into this Resident Evil around like 7
and the remakes.
7 and remakes, right? So to me, Resident Evil 2 is the best Resident Evil, like remake is the best game because I love it. It's full of scares. It's full of great like backtracking movie. Everything about it is fantastic. Where here that it is very, very good, but it is a little bit because this is just before they push into that more action-based style.
It controls like garbage.
It controls like shit. Tank controls a bum. And even because even in Resident Evil 2 Remake, they had tank controls, but it was adapted tank controls, so you could still kind of move. It just slowed you down, which is good. Where here, I just stopped my tracks. And yeah, it's not very fun. And the majority of the time, it's an escort mission. Escort missions are asshole. Except apparently in this game, it's allowed. And it's totally cool and no one poo-poos it. No, give me any chance I get, I throw her in a dumpster and then I fight everyone. You know what I mean? Like, it's horrible. The amount of time she just manages to pull aggro, I'm like, can you just fuck off? Saying that, though, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. Because, yeah, as I said at the start of the show, like with the Resident Evil board game, I have been on a complete Resident Evil hype this week. After that showcase is completely got me excited, and that's kind of what I've just been thinking about in terms of my gameplay stuff. Like I think I tried to play Fuser for a little bit, and I kind of went in there.
You shouldn't have to wait too long for it.
Yeah, and thankfully we're not only waiting until May, which is not too far, only a couple of months.
Touch wood.
Very.
Touch wood.
I mean, is this wood? I don't know.
Doesn't join the delay train.
Yeah, please not. Please don't. But yeah, so that I'm super stoked on. Really, really enjoying it. It's been really good actually not playing anything that is reviewy. Like really, I should be playing Hitman 3 to finish it more. We did just drop our first impressions last week. I've
played more of Hitman 3. I'm now up to level 4.
There's only 5.
I think there's 6 levels total.
So how have you found it, like the other 2 additional levels that you've done?
Number 2 is the second level of Hitman has to be the highlight of my game so far. I don't know if it's going to change with the ending, but so the third level is, I think you play... you're trying to find undercover agents in essentially an underground rave, which was cool. Except I keep getting spotted by like because there's so many people everywhere. Cause, big underground rave. So you break in, and you're trying to find undercover agents who are trying to hunt you down, and you've got to take them out first. So your objective is you've killed 0 of question mark operatives. I have no idea how many there are. And I see you spot them when you're close enough. He's like, oh yeah, he's one. So I was walking past him. He's leaning over a railing. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll just walk past him and I'll just push him off. There's no one around me. Apparently there was someone around me. Like I looked for ages. I just pushed him, and then they go this. I just hear in the background, hey, this guy pushed him over the side, and then all of a sudden 5 dudes with guns are just on me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm dead now because you can't run in this game.
Yeah.
So I just got shot.
Well, you can jog. You can't really sprint. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you can infiltrate and be the DJ. Like I killed a few of them by spiking drinks on the bars and just sending them out.
Gross. Viva Dylan in the chat says Dylan Blight from another PlayStation podcast here in Australia. There's when I say we're one of the top 3 PlayStation podcasts made in Australia, he's the other one, and then there's another one. And that's it. And I know it's funny. I know all 3 of them. I don't know. I couldn't even tell who's actually number 1, and nor do I really give a shit. But I just love the idea that like there's the top 3. There's only 3. We're one of them. It's good. He's added the over the shoulder shooting. This is in Resident Evil was big when it came out, but since you've played the remakes before, it would be hard to like Resident Evil 4. I did play Resident Evil 4 on the PS2 back in the day. It's not on the shelf, or it's in the other room. So I remember it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But like I'm at that point where it's been so long. I don't remember anything that I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have 100% been spoilt by the changes in the remake, and like I'm not like hating it. It's just like, oh, I wish I could just move slightly. It's just a minor hurdle, and the aiming I feel is a little like, because you're stuck in one spot, like strafe aiming seems to be easier. But yeah, as an overall, still really enjoying the game. Don't get me wrong, it's still fucking good. Still having a good time. But it's just a circumstance of this. And then like dudes with chainsaws and stuff come at you. I'm the 3rd best played pod in Australia, but the best in the Oceanias. That's true. They are the number 1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. What is the Oceanias? We're not really sure. But it's see, this is the best thing. My favorite thing.
The Kiwis love them.
My favorite thing about statistics is I can alter it in any way I want, and it can kind of almost be true. Like for all I know, we are the number 1 PlayStation podcast made by 2 dudes in a back room. How do you know?
How do you know?
Anyway, let's get into the section called Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. Max, where are we going?
Let's kick some stuff off with just straight up.
Also, this mango, it's supposed to be creamy mango, and it's very, very creamy. I know it's weird. Don't think I'm entirely sold on it. Just saying.
So let's kick things off with some supply shortages. So AMD is the company that produces the chips for PS5. Oh wow, it has been a week apparently. So because of that, there's console stock shortages. The stock shortages are expected to last until at least the second half of this year. This is according to CEO Lisa Su, who spoke during the firm's most recent financial briefing. So basically, AMD saw a huge spike in demand for its products last year, driven by the pandemic and everyone being at home. So not only did the company introduce new chips designed for their PC users, it's also producing custom components for current gen consoles, like the PS5. So although AMD has reported record earnings, it's still having to deal with, quote, rolling shortages. However, Sue says that additional production will kick into gear around the second half of this year, which should help AMD meet the demand. And when that happens, we will hopefully start seeing more PlayStation 5 stock become available to retailers.
This makes complete sense. Like AMD, yeah, like because it's the pipeline thing, right? Yeah. So like in terms of AMD, the AMD chipsets, like although there is a Zen tech, there is a Zen design in the PS5. It's different from the Ryzen, which is in the computers, but like they all have to come from the same pipeline, right? And it's one factory. So if that factory is being bombarded by like everyone, it would be a circumstance of as AMD, they would need to prioritize which chipsets are going to be the most beneficial for them to produce. And I presume probably computer ones, probably the harder one, probably the more beneficial for them to sort of start pumping out, followed by the console. Now it's gonna take a while for even there. What they say, like mid-year. I'd push to like September. Yeah. I don't see like the ease of
in saying that like
till,
September
like,
makes sense, because if they kick things into gear mid-year, we're not going to see that ripple down until September.
But like I'm pretty confident that the PS5 will be the struggle to get device of 2021 as well for Christmas, like easily.
Unless you're a robot, in which case you can get them really easy.
Yeah, unless you're a bot, you can get like 3 of them, and then you can jack up the prices. Saying that though, I was at the supermarket today, and
you saw one on the shelf at Coles.
No, the Doritos. They're doing a give. You can win a PlayStation. I don't eat Doritos anymore, but I kind of contemplated it because I just wanted to enter the competition. Like the problem is I have to buy them and I have to eat them, and I'm not cool with that.
Technically, you don't have to eat them. You just got to buy the product.
That's true. Yeah, but I have a brain thing that I want to eat them. The reason I don't buy them is because if I had them, I'd eat them. It's a hurdle, man. It's a brain thing.
We also now have store deals, Ryan. The PlayStation 5 finally has a deal section in its online store.
Fuck yes.
After 2 months of PlayStation 5 availability and multiple sales, Sony has finally added a deal section to the PlayStation Store on the PS5 console. It's accessible via the navigation bar at the top once you've scrolled into the app.
Minor couple things. I still can't turn the fucking console off properly, because I guess I'm missing a portion of my brain. But yeah, this is amazing news. Like, the only downside is you have to go to the store, go down, and then press back up again. Yep. That is so weird. Bad design. Bunk on the nose with the paper towel. But yeah, no, this is amazing. Because one of my favorite things to do on the regular was like every Tuesday or even like on a Friday, I'd be just like, oh, what's the deals this week? I don't always buy anything, but it's always incentivizing me to go buy something. So I'll open, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
To the retro sales on now.
Yeah, it's like under $30 and like, retros and remasters or whatever, which, speaking of Resident Evil, the Resident Evil 2 remakes in there, but cheap as shit. Get it.
Next up, we have some PlayStation Network news. So the man behind many of PlayStation Network's flagship services, including PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and the PlayStation Store, will leave his current role at Sony Interactive Entertainment at the end of the current fiscal year. Jon Kodera. So Kodera led the Sony Network Entertainment Group from 2013 and transformed it into one of the business's key pillars before it was eventually absorbed by Sony Interactive Entertainment as part of a restructuring initiative. These days, the PlayStation Store is one of the firm's largest revenue drivers, with PlayStation Plus retaining record subscription numbers and having an enormous overall impact on the company's bottom line. In early 2019, Kodera took the unprecedented decision to effectively demote himself from the CEO role, allowing Jim Ryan to take over daily operations while he focused on the network segment. Kodera's new role within Sony Corporation will see him act as Executive Vice President, where he will continue to be involved with online services.
Isn't Executive Vice President the same like role
I think
that Homer jokingly gave himself?
I think he wants just the money, but not as much of the work.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys can deal with everyone else. Let's just let me live in my little corner.
So,
I just want to deal with my network stuff. Leave me alone.
Yes,
I don't want to talk to people.
So make me vice president. No. Executive vice president. Yeah, that sounds fancy. But yeah, it makes sense. Like, the network it's so pivotal now, and knowing how garbage it has been in the past, just give him all the money to fix it.
At least the PlayStation Network didn't go down over the launch of the PlayStation 5.
That's true.
Remember that year over Christmas when everyone got their PS4s and the Sony Network was down for like a week and a half?
Remember that one year we didn't have it for 2 months? Back in the old... that was a name for it. I don't know. I got a bunch of free games at the end of it, so it was pretty sweet.
No, I never had PS Plus until they introduced you have to have PS Plus to play online games. That's when I'm like, I guess I have to have PS Plus now.
Yeah, I think it was 2010 or 2011. I always blank out in the year, but it was like it got hacked, and it was down for about 2 months. I'm like, this is dumb. What? I'm being so baffled, because at that time I wasn't really into gaming on the level that I am now in terms of trying to know things, as I just demonstrate that I don't fucking know anything. Can't remember what year it happened.
10 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's true. It was 10 years ago. But yeah, I remember just being like, why can't I join? This is so dumb. Because I think I was either, depending on when this was, either I was playing DC Universe Online, because I played that a lot on PS3. I was real bummed because I couldn't play it. And I remember we couldn't play Call of Duty Multi at the time. That was a bum. But then I got Infamous and Dead Nation, so that was pretty sweet.
And the PlayStation Plus games for February are the Control Ultimate Edition. You will get both the PS4 and the PS5 version. You'll get the PlayStation 4 version of Concrete Genie, and we will be getting Destruction All-Stars.
Banger month, man.
So I think Remedy, after the whole shitstorm of their PR going, oh, you're going to get the upgrade for free, but only if you've got this edition, but this edition's not on sale yet. They're just giving it away now. So please play that game. It is really, really good.
Yeah, this is an absolute banger of a month. Like, really, in terms of like value for money, without a doubt. Like, Destruction All-Stars is the only one that's really a non...
It's an unknown quantity.
It's unknown on like where it's in terms of its value, right? So, but it has the potential to do well, and presumably because this game was looking to be 120 something bucks at launch. So by removing that price hurdle, this is going to, in the same way that Rocket League and Fall Guys, this is going to drop that barrier. Everyone will come in and they'll probably like it more because it was free, or they'll hate it more because it was free.
Well, the other thing is they dropped a state of play earlier this week on Destruction.
Oh, we watched it like just before we came in.
Yeah, we watched it right before the show because it's an exclusive. Hopefully, it's going to have really awesome DualSense support. I really look forward to seeing what they actually do with it, knowing that it was designed specifically for the PS5.
Yeah, and in knowing that we've got two PlayStation exclusives here with obviously with Destruction All-Stars and Concrete Genie. So Concrete Genie was made by Pixel Opus, came out the back end of 2019, I remember, and it's dope, man. Like, it is really, really good. It was one of those ones like when I finished, I was like, I can't really fault this. It was magical. I really enjoyed all of it. So it's a very simple premise. It's about this sort of dark, dreary town, and you as this boy sort of like paint the walls and bring it back to life with cool art and stuff. And it is like, for a first party game, it's indie as fuck, which is it has that indie charm to it.
Yeah.
But with the sort of the coolness that knows you're playing a first party title. It's a great pickup. And then obviously Control, my second favorite game of 2019. Because it was Death Stranding, and then Control, and being able to essentially get the Ultimate Edition here. I'm like one of the biggest hurdles the game had. It ran like poo on PS4, like especially when you go in and out of menus. But we were playing it pre-release, and we didn't play it since. So for all I know, it could still be garbage. So that has me excited. Hopefully, it runs better, it plays better, because like the level of destruction in that game, the level of like particles and sort of the way you'd pull shit would just crumble off a wall. I want to see what this higher powered console can deliver with that. And plus we get the DLC as well, which I'm yet to play. I wonder if my save is transferable, because I've platinumed the main game and I'd like to go do the DLC, and I was waiting for the PS5 version to do that DLC, and now I don't have to buy it again, which is, don't actually buy it the first time I reviewed it, but thank you to Reboot Communications for that. But yeah, I was like, well, I enjoyed it. I'll buy it again. Hopefully I don't have to play the whole thing again. Even if I did, if I had to, would totally do it.
Yeah.
Beautifully fucking weird.
I think I will definitely be playing it again, because when I played on Xbox.
Yeah, that's right. You did. And then I bought the DLC. I went, here you go. And you went, I don't have it on...
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. To run like garbage on Xbox too.
Yeah, that's good to know. But yeah, no, bonkers good month, man. And just like in the chat, Puck says I was thankful to get Control, and spot on. Like that's, I think you're right. There is a lot of damage control. It feels like in this. What is interesting though, like with remember there's all that rumor mills of like, should PlayStation buy Remedy?
Yeah.
Like if they did, this would be like, in theory, like if you're taking that rumor into account, it could almost be a whole first party month.
Well, it's funny because Control also, as of I think last week, is now on Games Pass.
The Ultimate Edition on Games Pass?
I don't know if it's the Ultimate Edition, but I know Control is on Games Pass.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense though. If it's on Ultimate, if the Ultimate Edition is on Games Pass as well, cool. Oh no, because I think the Ultimate Edition isn't the same hurdle. Because with what's the
Smart
Xbox
delivery.
thing, Smart Delivery, and may not have the same problem. It's 30k 4K, so it's 30 frames 4K ray tracing. Ooh.
Yeah,
or 60 at 140 or 1440, 60 at 1440. So I'm playing that. Done.
Yeah,
Decision made.
Obviously.
I'll
check out the 30 ray tracing, but it'll be a rough. I think it'll be a rough 30.
I think it'll be a rough 30, but like that game, the ray tracing should be exceptional because like everything was reflective, bunch of cool little red lights and stuff everywhere. I can only imagine it's going to look dope.
Oh, that maze scene.
For the maze scene again. Yes. Yeah, but you know, I've recently have become a bit of a convert for frames. I just never really gave it too much of a poo because I never played on PC, so I was never really spoiled by frames. I was used to 30 being my standard. And a couple of games was like 60. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But then when I went and played, I think Last of Us a couple of years ago at 60, I was like, oh, this is so much better. And then now I'm like performance mode every goddamn time because I feel we're at a point where, using Spider-Man as an example, they're able to deliver almost visually the same level of fidelity with a better frame rate. I'm like, well, then I'm fucking picking the frame rate. So that has me incredibly excited. Play the poo out of that. One thing that has me excited, but who effing knows when it's happening, if we're just learning this information, EA has made a new studio max for Skate. So Skate, the next upcoming Skate game was confirmed during an EA digital event last year sometime. I don't know. It says last summer, but I'm pretty sure you ripped this from somewhere.
I think it was early last year.
Yeah, early last year somewhere. It is so far away from release that the publisher has only just announced that it's putting together an entirely new studio to make it. The Vancouver-based Full Circle will lead development on the title, joined by Darren Chung, Cuz Parry, and Daniel McCulloch, whatever. Creative pair Chung and Parry are said to be stoked about working, and that's using skate language, I love it, about working on the IP once again before cracking a joke based on the studio's name. Quote, some would say things have come full circle. Lame. End quote. The team now turns its attention to staffing up and hiring positions that include artists, designers, and engineers, with more to be made available throughout the year. The aforementioned, that guy, McCloch, said, quote, we're all about having fun and making great games that people want to play with their friends. And we're looking for more developers to help us build compelling worlds for players to explore. End quote. Good.
These games were coming out for ages.
Why the fuck did they announce it?
Because the internet wanted it, and apparently the internet holds so much power these days.
This is so dumb. Don't announce it. Like, I'm guaranteed this is the same hurdle that Bethesda had, right? They're like, fuck, all right, Elder Scrolls 5 is coming. Fuck off. Or 6 or whatever. But now they're going to be asked about it every single meeting, every single opportunity they can. And now EA's in the same. They're probably like, when's Skate happening? Like, oh, we just built a studio. Fuck off. You know, like, this is so far away. This is 2023 at the absolute best. And like they heard Liz, like they're already playing catch up. Like skateboarding in terms of its involvement in popular culture is kind of low now. Like it got revitalized with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, but even then, unless there's a sudden boom in the next 2 years, I'm
just gonna play.
Like it's gonna do. I'm still gonna play. I love Skate so much more than at least Tony Hawk, especially in the back end years. But it does have me worried that it's this far away, and that it's been a year and they've only just, I guess, presumably, but they probably haven't even started development yet. Like this, like they would have been in pre up until this point, because there is no way that you could now start hiring all these people and have at least alpha production started. No way.
Yeah.
No way. What have they been doing for the last year?
They've been assembling their studio.
There's 4 dudes named.
Look, it's gonna be a while. We're just gonna have to deal with that.
I have such an issue, Max, with companies just announcing shit 11 years before they have any plans on doing anything.
Look, they can't all do it.
EA have done this consistently. How many times have we seen at an E3 conference an EA conference at E3, and they're like, here's a guy drawing a picture about it. Here's concept art.
Yeah.
Has to stop. This is how you either build hype to a destructive level, or you lose any momentum the game could have.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their turnaround time is for Skate if they're just building and hiring for the new studio now.
It's not good, man. It's not good at all. Speaking of not good at all.
Oh, well, speaking of things that are assembling. Crystal Dynamics is still committed to making Marvel's Avengers a thing. It has now set a date for another War Table live stream well in advance of its airtime. Scheduled to take place on the 16th of February, the digital showcase will provide more information on the PlayStation 5 version of the game and fully unveil Hawkeye as a playable hero. The PlayStation 5 version, which we already know will be capable of running at a 60 frames per second with a dynamic 4K resolution, will hopefully be shown on the live stream, and we'll also get details on how Marvel Avengers will make use of PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, and maybe some card implementation for the PlayStation 5 system.
See, here's the thing. It's just like Cyberpunk, I'm not going to care until there's a next-gen version. Because that's what I want to play. I'm down for that. And look, the game is bomb, but I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed at least the novelty of it. And then once you start punching the same enemies over and over again, it got bad. So, it's cool they're bringing Hawkeye in because they brought another character recently who I've completely brain farted on.
The female Hawkeye.
Yeah, the female Hawkeye. It's cool. Here's another character that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting decision right there. I guess they promised Hawkeye. They promised these characters in that order.
Yeah.
But what you need is you need that variable. You need something different because if they're struggling to maintain maintain players as they have been, why would they then just give you more of the same? It's like you want people to come back in. It's like,
but that was the thing. Like the main set of characters that they had at launch were essentially all played the same way. Like even Thor and Iron Man, who had the ability to fly compared to everyone else, they essentially all played the same way. You would all have range attacks, you all have melee attacks, and you just go in and punch stuff.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a huge amount of variance between the playable characters as it was.
Yeah, but when you looked at that list of of rumored characters that were coming, you could pair them. It was like Hulk and She-Hulk. Like, all right, cool. There's your big busters, right? And then you'd sort of compare the pair, and you'd be like, oh, this is where it's going. So the idea is you still have that same setup that you would in any sort of MMO, because what they're trying to do is they are trying to make an MMO here. So you'd have your healers, your controllers, or whatever, and they were hitting those same beats here. But it's where they delivered both the characters that had the similar skill set in the same window. Like, why didn't you go fucking Hawkeye's daughter, as Mullet's corrected us, Hawkeye's daughter, She-Hulk, then Hawkeye, or some other random fuck, and then Hawkeye? Like, there needs that point of separation. Like, when's Spidey coming? Everyone cracked their shits about Spidey being an exclusive, and no one's seen it.
Well, that's the thing. They've obviously had a schedule of who they're releasing when, and because they missed Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, there it is.
Thank you, Park.
It's been now, mate. It starts with K, and I couldn't get the next set. Thank you, Park.
Because they had the lineup ready. They had to release Kate Bishop first because that's who they said they were going to release first. It just happened to be a month and a half late. And now because they're a month and a half late, they're now a month and a half late on delivering Hawkeye. So whenever Spider-Man was due to come, he'll be 2 months down the track.
Yeah, and that is their fault because they released a game that wasn't ready. And that's the other hurdle with these live services. Is if they always come out broken at launch, and they spend what should be planning for future content time fixing the game. Yeah. When's Anthem 2.0? Just on a side discussion.
I mean, I'm super keen for that if it ever comes to fruition.
Yeah, and in the same way, we should have the next gen versions of Avengers right now, but we don't.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to be early December.
Yeah,
from memory.
We hadn't seen them.
I get it. Like, obviously, so much stuff went down last year that made everyone's jobs way more difficult than they needed to be.
But it's also been a year.
Oh yeah.
I agree. Using COVID as a reason for things slowing down, completely agree. It did. It fucked everything. But we are 12 months past that time. We're about to hit 12 months since we've passed 12 months since the first identified case here in Australia. Lockdowns, or at least working from home restrictions, really sort of began in February, March, right? I think it was about March.
Yeah.
At least here in Australia. So that is the thing. That's the hurdle. You were about to come up to a year. Any hurdle that you had, they're fucking gone. If you're still struggling to make it work in a working from home scenario, that is a sign of poor management and poor business structure. This is not a working from home issue anymore. This is not a COVID issue. This is you just not being able to perform as a company.
Yeah, the chat also brings up that Black Panther was also supposed to be released, but after the passing of Chadwick Boseman,
big call.
They tabled that for
100% the right call. That for sure. Actually, I remember seeing a promo teaser thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that's a really good point. I didn't even think of that. Well, there you go. That corrects all my argument. I'm like, why didn't they put someone in the middle? We had someone in the middle. I'm like,
I mean,
then
to
don't
be
worry
fair,
about it.
obviously no one was ready to swap into that place
Yeah.
to keep the thing flowing. But
All right. Well, look, in that case, I take my argument back. I was like, my argument was, why didn't they put someone in the middle? Turns out they totally had that planned. I'm the dick, and I'll take it. Moving on. Tomb Raider. Square Enix has plans to celebrate their series' 25th anniversary all this year with retrospectives, quote, nostalgic content, end quote, and more. While Crystal Dynamics begins works on Lara Croft's next big adventure. According to the franchise game director Will Kerslake, this project will unify the ideas of the original PS1 games with the more recent reboot trilogy. This is all a quote. We envision the future of Tomb Raider unfolding after the rebooted trilogy, telling stories that build upon both the breadth of core design and Crystal Dynamics games, looking to unify these timelines. With Tomb Raider's extensive history, this is not an easy task, and we ask for patience as we go through the process.
it's always hard when you try and retcon old stuff into new stuff and make it all tie together. Like, obviously, we're seeing that currently with Capcom and the Resident Evil series. They're trying to tie everything into a nice, pretty zombie bow. And it looks like these guys are trying to do the same as Tomb Raider, because obviously those games played very, very differently to what the most recent rebooted trilogy has. I think it'll be good for fans of the series who missed those original titles to see some of that stuff come in and come forward into what they're creating next.
That means they have to fight a fucking T-Rex. I'm in. I'm super down with this. I like retconning and I like rebooting, but I also, part of me really likes long-term
Storytelling.
dedication and storytelling. That's why I like wrestling when it's good. Get me started. But like long-term storytelling is cool. So the idea that like, hey, your time is respected. The games you played back then, they are still of value. Yeah. They are still connected to what we're working on today. And like, you know, as using Star Wars as an example, because Star Wars is a perfect example of connecting overarching stories together.
About the one family.
I grew up on the prequels, right? So as much as people shit on the prequels, they are my Star Wars. The original trilogy, still mint. But the prequels are my Star Wars. So when we see acknowledgements of them into that connected timeline in the sequel trilogy, just something as simple as, you know, having Luke Skywalker mention Darth Sidious and the hubris of the Jedi and all these sort of mentions of that original, you know, prequel trilogy, it makes me happy. Because I like to see it all come together. And then watching Mandalorian, and like there's a straight reference to, you know, in the first episode of season 2, there's a straight reference to episode 1. And like that's the shit that warms my heart. So if they're doing that with Tomb Raider, like although I don't have an affinity for the old Tomb Raider games, for many out there that do, that's awesome.
What happened? Did they realize that tons of people in the galaxy hate sand and realize that it gets everywhere?
Someone has a vehicle, like a speeder bike, that's made up of one of Anakin Skywalker's engines from his pod racer. I'm like, oh shit, because I fucking love pod racing.
Okay, that's a way more better reference
than
just
so
hating
better.
sand.
It's mostly to explain why she has triangle boobs for a couple of years. I want to know how they get to that point. Like, how do you explain that? It's going to be a very interesting conversation, and it's going to be loaded. But I'm looking forward to it. But look, it said if they can find a way to bring dinosaurs into, knowing that she's fought dinos in the original games, to bring it into these new ones, because I really enjoyed the reboot trilogy. The first one was kind of fine, but I really enjoyed Rise. I really enjoyed Shadow. And I'm curious to where they take it, because it was kind of a nice trilogy. But I guess implementing the two together is kind of nice, and it provides a clear framework as well, because this reboot trilogy was all about her becoming a Tomb Raider, where back in the day, like, oh, she's already been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
You know? And I like that. Fill in the G's. It's the Jesus years, right? We know when Jesus was born. We know when Jesus died. We know what happened in between. That's what we want to know. Give me Lara Croft's Jesus years. Fuck.
Speaking of things we want to know, Dying Light 2 a few years ago got canned indefinitely.
Just like Jesus.
However, EB Games Australia seems to think the game will be releasing on the 25th of May 2021. Thanks to some internet sleuthing done by Reset Era users, it was determined that this new date has been updated from a standard placeholder of TBC 2021 in the past 2 days, matching the timeframe in which the supposed collector's edition was discovered. When conducting a check this morning, the launch date now displays the previous wording of TBC 2021. So should this possible leak prove to be true, it means that Dying Light 2 would release in close proximity to Resident Evil Village and Deathloop.
It's a Thursday. I suppose I put my phone out to check what day of the week it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, so it's Tuesday. Release is normally Tuesday or Friday. And is that January, February, March, April? It's not even the end of a quarter, is it? No, it's not. That's weirdly specific.
Yeah.
But why the fuck would EB Games know it?
I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready to announce this is your pre-order shit. This is when it's coming out.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for speaking of Resident Evil, why can't I pre-order the statue? I want it.
Are you gonna order the big one from Japan and get Chris Redfield's cloak for $1,800?
Nah, that's Japanese size. I'm way too huge for Japanese sizes. Yeah, okay, cool. So I don't even trust that because where's my sweet fucking Resident Evil statue? Huh?
Yeah. Look,
it's a
in a perfect
weird
world,
date.
I would love to see it come out on the 25th of May. I'm super keen for this game. I was a massive fan of Dying Light 1. I think I've played that game about 6 times from start to finish with different people. It's always good fun. It's always good for laugh. I was really bummed when they delayed it indefinitely. So any news is good news, but this is a little bit too good to be true for me.
Yeah,
It's a weird...
the specifics of it make me want to lead it credence, but then I also don't because it's too specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me contradicting myself in one sentence. I don't know. It seems like a weird time. May's cool. Like, we didn't release in like December originally, the first one, and like that was such because there was nothing coming out in December, and it just dominated.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I think it will be an issue if it's releasing in the same month as everything else.
I don't think it should release close to Resident Evil Village.
Nah, it's too similar. Zombies. Maybe the Resident Evil Village doesn't look to have.
Don't
the
get me
same
wrong.
zombies.
Like, obviously, it's a very different gameplay because obviously, Dying Light 2 is all about your parkour, free running, and so on.
And building small settlements from that video, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still keen for it. I don't think EB Games Australia is your inside source, but I credit to them. I guess
I
they
thought
might
it was
be.
funny.
It's pretty interesting. Delays, Max. Delays. Couple of delays ready to rock and roll. Number 1, Returnal has got a new release date. It has now been moved to April 30, 2021. So about 5-ish weeks. SIE and Housemarque have made the decision to move the release date in order to give the team extra time to continue to polish the game to the level of quality players expect from Housemarque. And number 2, Lord of the Rings Golem was thought to be released this year, but has since been given a 2022 release window. Now, I clickbaitily have named this episode Returnal Delayed? ? Should we be worried? No. Should we be worried?
Not at all. Sure? I think a lot of studios, after CD Projekt Red's disastrous launch of Cyberpunk, I think a lot of studios are now going to err on the side of caution, and it's better to delay a game earlier than later.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who quoted it. I think it was the Nintendo guy, but releasing a broken game and trying to fix it is always broken, but waiting and releasing a good game is good forever.
You butchered that quote, but you're close.
Yeah. I butchered that quote, but it's to paraphrase.
Yeah. To fuck it up completely, here is a quote.
Yeah.
And look, I do agree with that. I think a delay has never, unless you're like The Last Guardian or something, like a delay has never really hurt you. You can always come out of it being well. But
because you only get one chance at a first impression.
That's true.
And like if it's a hot mess on release, it definitely sours people's.
I think there are some things to be worried. about.
Yeah.
Because mostly because Housemarque, they're doing their first third person game, so this could have its own hurdles. There could be some... What's quote the Nintendo guy, I'm dead.
It's been a day.
We're PlayStation dudes,
it's
man.
been a
Like,
day.
we don't think about that crap anymore. What is his name?
Was it Miyamoto?
Does that sound like a real name?
Are you serious?
I think you are right.
Look, I apologize to whoever said it because I butchered the saying as well. So like, don't feel bad. Maybe you're better
How
off.
much disrespect can you deliver at one dude?
Maybe you're better off not taking credit for this one. But look,
Yeah, look,
you're right though. It is Housemarque's first soiree into a third.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure that's got
It'll
its
be
own
interesting.
problems, and the other
But
hurdle...
it's interesting that, sorry to cut you off again. It's interesting the statement is SIE and Housemarque. So I wonder how much pressure Sony's like, do you need my time? Like, are you sure you're going to get this?
I think one of the biggest narratives sort of going around this game is like, you know, Housemarque have only ever made indie games, very high quality indie games, and now they're charging full price, like full AAA game for a studio that we know makes independent games. So I imagine there's a lot of hurdles for the average consumer, anyone that thinks about it. I guess most people that don't. Yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto, good lord. Yeah, there you go. You guessed it, sort of.
I guess it. Piss off.
Yeah, so there is that sort of hurdle. Maybe this is like make that polish, right? To try incentivize, like, no, it is worth the $70 because it looks this good. It's whatever. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a very like basic way to look at it because we don't know all the inners. Like, it could just be simple as we want to get a bit more of a bump, or it could be fucked. I don't think it's fucked. I think with the level at which they're talking about it and they're showcasing with sort of the Housemarque podcast or whatever the hell they've named them, I think it's pretty good to go. It's just getting that last bit of oomph out of it, and I'm not too mad about it. Golem, I don't give a fuck.
I don't think Golem's technically been delayed. I just think everyone assumed that it was coming out this year.
Yeah, I think they said
And
maybe
then-
2021.
And then they've just come out and go, it's next year, all right?
everyone went, oh, okay. Then moving on.
Quick bits. DONTNOD have secured a $36 million investment from Tencent to create and self-publish new IPs. Tencent being the gigantic Chinese company that own like a ton of everyone.
See, this is the when I
Because
first
DONTNOD are the guys behind Life is Strange. 'Cause
Yeah.
they worked with Square. on that? Yeah.
yeah. The thing that baffles me about this is that DONTNOD and their games like fuck, you just said it. Life is Strange. Like, they're quite progressive.
Yep.
And Tencent, a Chinese company which has we essentially got known connections to the CCP. Does this money come with any caveats that they can't make the sort of progressive games that they have been? Like, is that level of restriction in place? Like, I understand, like, DONTNOD have made great games, but they don't commercially do as well as they probably should. So for them, it was just seeking financial investment, which is not a bad thing. If you want to keep your business afloat, you're going to have to. But I do worry that there may be some added influence to alter that. Because even though Life is Strange is a game, I didn't really dig it myself personally.
Well,
I loved what it said.
Like, you bring up a good point, but when you look at it, like, Tencent also own parts of Epic. They own parts of Riot Games. Like, they're not making any less censored games, like, so to speak. So it could just be they've given them an investment and they'll take a portion of their stuff. They might still leave them, because if they're leaving them to create and self-publish their new IPs, they must have some kind of autonomy to what they're making.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's one of those things. Anytime someone becomes an investor in something, like, they play a role.
Well, there you go. They don't have enough shares to have any hand in what they're doing.
Cool. Well, there you go. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But I mean, even for us, right? If someone invested money in what we do, there is still an influence from them having their money, right?
Yeah.
And it's the idea of, like, regardless of how many shares they have, if it's a circumstance of, like, let's put this thing, I'm like, oh, but do you think Tencent will have an issue with that? You instantly have to process it a little bit more. Now, granted, I'm sure they've had to have that same, like, level of self-awareness when they're doing other things with other companies, but that in terms of restrictions, I would say I'm straight just fucking speculating like real far off. It's very unlikely that's going down that path. But, you know, Tencent have got monies in so many pies right now. That alone should be a big concern. But, you know.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War's new zombies map Firestorm launches the 4th of February.
Damn for this?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm really keen to jump back into it. I've a couple of weeks ago, me and my friends beat the Easter egg of the first zombies map. So we did the big overarching story, got the trophy. I haven't touched it since because I'm done with that level now. So getting something new to play will be fantastic.
My copy's sitting over there, and I'm thinking that I might just flip it. I think I'm done. I'm
Fair
not
enough.
going back. I did the campaign, and that's about it.
A new Miles Morales patch dropped this week to fix some of the PlayStation 5 crashing issues that it's still been having.
Cool. As long as I can still like swing and randomly become a brick or a fucking crate of food, then I'm in.
Immortals Fenyx Rising DLC, A New God, is out now.
Yeah, that snuck up something fierce, eh? So I haven't jumped onto it yet.
I also have not jumped onto it yet.
It's like $60 for the season pass, or $22 for the DLC. Apparently, it's a bunch of trials, so it's not like a full blown story DLC. But the other two might be, from what we've heard. I'm okay with it. I might jump at it. See how I go. The only hurdle is that I haven't gone back to Immortals because it's dense. Kind of my brain's gone a bit elsewhere. Because now that I've done the story, I'm like. And that's like when it comes to DLCs in general, that's the toughest thing for me, is to then can bring myself back in.
Yeah.
Because if I do happen to roll credits in it, then I'm like, well, I'm done with that game now. Like, but there's more. I'm like, but I'm done with that game now. And that's the big help.
Cyberpunk's new update 1.11 is out now with more bug fixes.
Okay, I'm having a weird hurdle with the update.
This was not one of the big updates. This was our last update broke a story mission that you can't get past anymore. So they patched that apparently. Apparently one of the core quest givers just would not talk to you anymore. So they fixed it.
So I'm having a problem with Cyberpunk specifically.
Yeah, okay.
So I have it on an external hard drive now, plugged into the back of the PS4.
And mine's still uninstalled on a disk by itself, sitting on a shelf.
So
collecting dust.
The download updates. Wait. The update downloads. There we go.
Yep.
But it won't install. I have to literally move the game from the hard drive to the console, reinitiate, and because it's sitting at 100%, it goes, oh yeah, it's done. It's installed. Then I have to move it back to the hard drive.
Does it have issues updating anything else that's on the portable hard drive? Strange. Very, very strange. The Last of Us 2 has surpassed The Witcher 3 as most awarded game in history.
Oh, damn.
And according to some, quote, reliable sources, a new Knights of the Old Republic game is in the works, but not with BioWare.
Good call.
Good call.
Very good call. I never played Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic is the game.
It was on PC and Xbox.
Knights of the Old Republic is the game that taught everyone that like Jedis of the douchebags of the
very much so.
The galaxy.
See, I love that. That's why. Then in that case, I'm gonna really enjoy Knights of the Republic because everyone gives Jedi Order praise. The Jedis are the poos.
After seeing this news, I actually reinstalled Knights of the Old Republic on my PC, and my PC's like, no, I can't run this, man. It is too old.
Really?
Go away. Like, I had it on my 4K monitor, and it's like on this tiny little square in the center of my screen. I'm just like, I can't do this.
That res is too low.
Yeah.
Is there a way to fix it?
Yeah, I move it across the 1080p monitor, and it's still ball bags.
Oh, because I had the same problem. I went to play Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and my computer went, no.
Oh, also, I can't believe I forgot to put this in the news. Elastomania is coming back. They are making a PlayStation 5 version of Elastomania.
Man, for those that don't know, I'm sure everyone knows Elastomania. Elastomania was like an old Flash game back in the day.
No, it was
a Java game.
Yeah, it was an old Java game. It was basically what Trials became.
Yeah. So you're like this flat plane motorbike, and you flip and you do cool tricks and stuff and
collect apples.
Yeah. I remember that it was installed on
almost every computer in my high school.
Yeah, same. I think someone put it on the student server, so you could get it at any point. So any computer you're playing it on. Yeah, that was a good game. Good times.
Great game.
I'm
super keen.
I do wonder how much nostalgia will
if you go to their website. I don't have the direct URL on me. You can sign up
for the beta.
For the beta.
Oh, Speaking of betas, I totally played the reverse.
Oh, yeah, how
It's
is it?
bum.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll quickly run through that.
TLDR, it sucks.
TLDR, it sucks. So you come in as you pick a bunch of characters. You're either Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, Ada
Wong.
Ada
Do they have all
Wong,
the characters already, or
Hunk. Yeah. So you can just pick them at the start. You just pick the 5 or 6 characters from the screen. Super easy.
Yep.
Then you spawn into a map, which the only map that I've played two rounds, and then I tried to find a round the other day and it didn't let me in, so I deleted it. So I played at the RCPD.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of walls that are blown out and just to allow more free flow movement. The art style is really grating, and I don't like it
Because it's that cell shaded.
It's cell shaded, but it's very clearly a cell shaded template over everything, so it looks kind of jank. It is team deathmatch. It's all about murdering everybody else. But you have to. So when you die, you come back as some sort of infected.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 levels of infected that you can return as. And you can change the level of infected that you are by collecting viral canisters throughout the map. Mm-hmm. So if you can hold them 3, I think, or 3 or 4. So you grab them in the map, and then so when you happen to die, you come back strong and you just fuck people's day up.
Yeah.
And that allows you to come back as like, you know, the dad or Nemesis, the dad from 7 or Nemesis or whatever. It's that big fucking thing with the eyeball on it. The tyrant, you know, that stuff like that. And like that's cool, but yes, not very good. Like it's so shallow.
Would it be more fun with friends?
I don't think it would be worse with friends. Like I think if you're all playing in the same server, then possibly, yeah. Like that seems pretty fun, but it didn't land for me in any way. Like movement felt weird. You know,
multiplayer has never been a strong suit in the.
And I don't know why they've pushed it. So
franchise.
I think it's all started with Resident Evil 5 when they had the co-op. But co-op is very different to multiplayer.
I mean, that still also sucked.
It's also sucked, but Resident Evil 5 sucked because I remember playing on PS3. But multiplayer is poo. Like, what was that one?
Umbrella Corps. That
was garbage.
That was also sucked.
You know, like they're really. I appreciate them trying to do it. Like even as back as Resident Evil Resistance on with 3 remake, that wasn't very good either.
Like I have a feeling that if they did 4 and someone played as the president's daughter, that game would have sucked too.
Oh yeah, would have been just slightly worse. Because it's escort missions are bomb. But yeah, so the idea of it is cool. Like you're in, you know, all these characters, and like that part's really fun. And if you happen to get a superpower infected or whatever they want to call them, then it's kind of cool. Like I was able to get into Big Eyeball Fucker, and I was just wrecking shop, which was fun because some people just become like generic. If you don't have any viral canisters, you just come like...
You become generic zombie.
Generic, but not a zombie. Is one of those generic, like weird fucking T-virus anomaly, slobby looking creatures. And that's cool. So I love the idea that there's a second run. Like if you die, it's not like all over Red Rover. You can have another little bit of a go, and you may see more success in an infected state. And that part is kind of cool. It kind of adds a bit more fun to it. Because then... rather than just like, haha, I shot the other guy, you're like, oh, he's back now, and we should probably work together to get him out because he's currently Mr. X, and it's not going to go well for us.
Yeah,
you know, so like there's that idea. It just feels shallow. Like the second you play it, and like even the menu system feels kind of it is beta. So I did manage to get into the game through the Resident Evil Ambassador program. I applied for it like 2 weeks ago for funsies. Yeah, and it's fine-ish, but like no, it's not. Yeah, I said it's fine, but it's not very good. Like it's one of those hardline that looks good, and it didn't crash on me. Didn't have any issues in terms of actual performance. Like it didn't like freeze up or nothing.
Yeah,
it was just not engaging.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah, and then now, like even in the beta period, I tried to jump in, and I couldn't find a match. So that's a concern in the beta period.
Well, it depends on how many.
Because the people in the beta should be the most enthusiastic to play it.
Yeah, true.
Because the only way to get a code is through the ambassador program. So that is a hurdle of itself. Either way. Here are the top 10 best-selling games that are available on the PS4 in Australia, but even though PlayStation Australia, for some reason, will not post PS5 numbers. Max, I've asked politely on Twitter and everything. Number 10, The Crew 2. Number 9, NBA 2K21. Number 8, UFC 4. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 6, Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Number 5, Red Dead Redemption Deuce. Number 4, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And number 1, Hitman 3. What the fuck is Breakpoint doing in there?
I don't know. Apparently one person bought it.
Is it super cheap right now?
Who knows? Upcoming titles for you. We have Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 February 4th. And we have the Neo 2 Complete Edition dropping February 5th.
Nice.
And Puck in the chat. Yes, there was a huge sale for Breakpoint.
Oh, there you go. Makes more sense. Well, whatever because we played it pre-launch.
Did not play it since because that.
What if it's any good? What if it's improved?
Not good. Oh, there you go. Puck's putting in the chat. You can get their $100 Ultimate Edition for $23. So the base version is probably like $10.
Yeah, and it's so fucking littered with like microtransactions. It's actually pretty hard to play.
Yep.
Speaking of, you fucking caved and bought.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I do not have 80 hours to play and finish Valhalla. I really want to play and finish Valhalla. I bought the XP boost and then didn't play it. No, I played heaps. I played like 5 hours last night.
Yeah. Did the XP boost them really make a difference?
Yeah, so I started again because I can't remember how to play and I kept getting killed where I was up to. I am still in the first area, so I haven't left for Wingland yet. I'm already high level than what I was. And I've done way less stuff.
Wow.
So I'm going to finish this game now. Because I do not have the time to put into it.
That's ballsy.
Unfortunately.
Neo 2 Ultimate Edition. Jumping on it?
Yeah, because it's free upgrade for anyone who already owns it.
Yeah, I own Neo. No, I do have Neo 2. We got it. We got it for review. Yes. Yeah. Neo 1, I don't have. No, I got it for PS Plus.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Privileged.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'll be able to play all the 120 frames on my non-supportive monitor.
I really enjoyed Neo 2. I'm garbage at it, but I really, really enjoyed it. Dylan, I just switched to easy. Was cheaper than XP Boost. So you just bought an XP Boost, but you still playing on hard like a moron?
Yes, obviously.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Could have just done that.
I want a challenge. I just don't want to grind. See? Big brains. I don't want to make the game. I don't want to prolong the game by doing bullshit side quests. I just want to do them. I want to golden path it without having to grind. I really don't want to play on easy because then there's no point.
That logic doesn't work for me.
I mean, like, it's fine. I'll support Ubisoft. They need my.
Why?
They need my $15.
No, they don't. I have for multiple times been called Ryan Ubisoft bets, and I'm like, no, they don't need it. You're rewarding the behavior.
Yeah, I'm the problem.
You are the problem.
Also, I bought some of the. No, I didn't really buy skins.
Oh, you piece of shit.
I didn't.
That sends it home.
I don't know who that is.
Someone calling you out of the blue. Probably Ubisoft. Like,
No,
hey, Max, thanks for.
I think it's Dash.
It's like, thanks.
He's like, you piece of shit.
Someone's just abusing you in messages.
It wasn't Dash. I think it was Dash, but it wasn't. All
right, let's send it home.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcasts and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All of our links are in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. You can join the chat and become part of the show. And, you know, just like the Puck did coming in and being our fact checker, of course, just like Dash was earlier on, just like Dylan was. And speaking of both Dash and Dylan, as I mentioned in the chat in earlier before, there are 3 PlayStation podcasts based in Australia. We are one of them. There are 2 others, one by Dash, one by Dylan. We encourage you go and check them all out. Us, them, why the fuck not? So there is Platinum Explosion as well as Operation PlayStation. You can never have too much PlayStation in your life. And it's all fun because I'm mates with all of them. So like I
might not be anymore.
There is no need to push down, bring everybody up. So go check them out, man. Like we all have different perspective, we all have different approaches, and it's all obviously you're here because you like PlayStation. Why not get some more PlayStation up here? You know, that's fucking way sexy. Ooh. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are on the podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Or if you're on the YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support the show financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popcourse.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players.
There you go. Dylan just showed us some love, gave us some bits, which covered the cost of my transgressions to Ubisoft. So I'm not the problem. It's Dylan.
How much was the booster?
It cost me $15.
$15.
I mean, we got the game for review. I didn't pay for it.
That's
like,
very true.
You know,
privilege.